Hey guys, it's Callie from Lashes and Rouge. I want to do a quick intro to the tutorial I'm doing today for cleaning your beauty blender or makeup sponge, depending on what you have, or your brushes. And I'm going to do a little bit of a different video style. I haven't really done this in a while. I actually haven't ever done this. I'm going to do this intro and then I will show you in bits and pieces the way that I clean my beauty sponge and the way that I clean my brushes. So thanks for watching. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, and share my blog, and feel free to look me up on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. Thanks guys, and have a great day. Okay, so I have my water. As you can see, it's probably about, I don't know, ½ inch of water in there. I have my sponge. This one has not been cleaned in a while. I actually don't use this one because for me it's too squishy. As you can see, it's pretty squishy. I got this one from Target. It's their Up and Up collection and I believe it was $4.99. I'll be cleaning this one as well. I've used this one solely for primer, so it actually is not that dirty. I very rarely use this, but I do need to clean it. And this one I actually got from Ulta. It was one of their Christmas stocking stuffer gifts. And I am using Dawn dish soap today for cleaning these sponges. And the reason I use Dawn is because I feel like it cleans it the best. As well, quick tip, if you ever have oil on your clothes, use Dawn dish soap. It will get it out right away. Okay, so let's get started. So as you can see, the sponge is fairly dirty. It looks a lot dirtier in person than it does on the camera here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put it in the water and I'm going to squeeze it. You can see I'm kind of going like this. That will bring the foundation to the surface. As you can see, it's kind of starting to come to the surface right there. So I'm just going to twist it around and squeeze it in the water. And I like to do like lukewarm, sometimes even hot water. It really just depends on how I'm feeling, but I definitely don't do cold because the cold will actually set your foundation. The hot kind of makes it a little bit more fluid, at least in my experience. This is what I found. And it's not going to rinse out as easily. So this is actually a lot cleaner than I thought. As you can see, the water is starting to get a little murky. You just keep doing that until the sponge is clean, or if the water gets too dirty, rinse out and start over. I can almost not see this. I probably put too much soap in. As you can see, that's actually a lot cleaner now than it was when I started. So what I'm going to do after this, I'm not going to be able to video this. I can't do this one-handed. But after this, I'm going to take this over to the sink and I will rinse out the sponge under running water and squeeze it out until I don't see any more soap. And then after that, I'll go on to the next step. The sponge is clean, and we're now at the most crucial step for cleaning your sponge. As you can see, I have another, probably about ½ inch of water, maybe a little bit less. You don't want to put too much, but you definitely want the entire bottom of your container full of water. And you also want this to be sitting in a good bit of water as well. Not too much again, but just a little bit. You can also use a glass bowl since we will be putting this in the microwave. I know some people don't like to use plastic, but this just happens to be the container I have on hand that works the best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clean sponge, and as you can see, there's no, there's a little bit left soap in there, but that's okay. It'll all rinse out with in the microwave. I've rinsed it out completely underneath the running water in the faucet, and now I'm going to put it in the microwave for 1:40. I don't know why it's 1:40, it just is. It seems to me like it's the best length of time for getting the water hot enough to sanitize the sponge, but not too hot that it's completely boiling. So I'm going to put this in the microwave for 1:40, and while that's going, I'm going to get started on my brush. Okay, so as you can see, the sponge is done, and it is steaming. So I'm going to set this aside and let it sit for a little bit to cool down before I put it on a paper towel to dry. Because the sponge has soaked up so much water, I don't want to risk burning my fingers by trying to get it out. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to move on to my brushes. I have 5 brushes today that I'm going to be cleaning. Now, really quick note about brushes and sponges. For sponges, you really want to replace them at least every 4 months. or less, depending on how often you use them. With the brushes, you can use them up to a year, but you want to keep them clean because they are actually touching your skin and they're getting all of the powders and creams or whatever you use is sitting on those brushes, so you want to keep them clean. I clean my brushes and sponges probably about once or twice a month, depending on how often I use them, so that's probably, well, yeah, it really just depends on how often I use them, because sometimes I'll go a full month without washing any brushes or sponge, and I just haven't put makeup on a whole lot that month. So it's really important that you use a cleanser or a makeup brush spray. Like, you can use a makeup brush cleaner spray, but you can make your own, you can buy it. I found that the simplest way to clean my brushes is to use Johnson & Baby's shampoo, and I'll just put about that much, because the thing with this is I will be replacing this water many times over the course of washing these brushes. I have my water in. I'm actually going to be using 2 different containers. This one has probably about a ½ inch of water, and that's what I'm going to use these brushes in. The cup is about half full. You want to kind of do a taller cup like this, especially if you have longer brushes like I have. It just kind of keeps the water from getting all over the place. And as you can see, this has got some nice bit of eyeshadow on it. And what you do, let's find the cup, just start doing this. I'm just going in and pushing the bristles down against the bottom. And as you can see, just one swipe like that has taken off a lot of shadow from the bottom of the brush. Now, the most important part is you want to make sure your brushes are clean, right? So what I do is I'll take a sheet of paper towel, I'll just lay it right next to wherever I'm cleaning the brush, get some of the soap off, and I'll go like this. If I don't see any more shadow show up on here from the brush, it's clean. And I am not seeing any more shadow, so I will actually just go in one more time just to make sure, because this is a kind of a long bristled brush. And don't worry about misshaping them, because you can always reshape them as they're drying. In fact, you do want to do that, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So that one's clean. Don't worry about that. Just do the rest of your brushes and then you can finish them up. And what I mean when I say finish them up is I'll run them under cool water. I have slightly warm water in the cup right now. I'll rinse them under warm water, or cool water, sorry. I'll rinse them under cool water to make sure that all of the eyeshadow or foundation powder or whatever is gotten out of the brush completely and I haven't missed anything. This one is taking a bit to clean. Yeah, I'm going to do that a little bit more. Alright, so I'm going to finish these up pretty quick. Okay, the brushes are all clean. Let's see if I can reshape them doing this with one hand only. Because this brush is a stippling brush, you kind of want to fluff it out to the point of where it's going to look kind of like what it did when it first went into the water. So a little fluffy. It's okay if it's not exactly the same shape, because it will actually dry and the bristles will expand. This one is a smudging brush, so I'll just fluff the bristles like this. Again, the bristles will expand as they dry. This one stayed in pretty much the same shape, so I'm just gonna lightly fluff them like that. In fact, that brush is almost dry. Okay, these ones are the big ones, and as you can see, they're pretty sodden still. So I'm just going to keep getting all the excess water out by going like this. Don't worry about misshaping them. You can always reshape them once you get all the water out. You really do want to try to get the water out as much as possible, because that will actually increase or decrease your drying time. This is my flat top brush. I'm going to go like this just to kind of get the bristles all even. Again, don't worry about it not being all filled in like that, because once it's dry, the bristles will expand and go back to what they look like. This is my round top foundation. Well, I use this for finishing powder. And actually I'll use this one for blending in a blush. This one I'll also fluff as well. Again, I know people will probably get worried that their brushes don't look the right way. The bristles will expand when they dry. All you want to make sure is that it is as close as possible to the shape of the brush before you got it wet. I've never had any issue with these brushes as far as cleaning them and then going to a weird shape once they dry. And I've cleaned them probably 4 or 5 times now since I got them a few months ago. Okay, so that's how you clean the brushes. And just make sure they have enough space on the paper towel to kind of breathe. And there's the Beauty Blender, or my makeup sponge. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say because that's really simple. Yeah, okay, I know what I was going to say. There's several different things on Pinterest where you can actually create your own brush board where you can use hot glue and do dots and configure lines on it, and you can use that to clean off the bristles. I've never gotten anything like that. If you keep your brushes clean, you shouldn't need to use something that intense on your brushes because you want to keep the bristles soft and pliable and you don't want to overuse them. And I feel like using some sort of brush board like that would actually deteriorate the use of your brush a lot faster than if you're just using them normally and keeping them clean. So that's it. Have a great day, guys.